Yeah, I'm ready. Oh, can you see my table? Yes. And also, more particularly, what is the particularly? The only way to accumulate an immense amount of the merit and not waste all what we have already accumulated is to make patience our main practice. This is the most important. And when you are practice patience, and naturally accumulation merit is coming, and also never ever destroy any kind of positives when you practice patience. Any kind of obstacles, harmers, provokers, they provoke to you if you practice patience. And also provocative things also make accumulation for you. And like this, here it says how could we practice patience if there were no one who made us angry? And according to the perfect path of the patient, and everything that we can to turn into the positive and meritorious, then we need to practice patience. In order to practice patience, then someone's need disturb to us to make anger. How they can disturb? Insult, mockery, criticize, and it's like kind of this sort of things are coming. And then we need to practice patience. For example, in the who or someone's practice Mahayana's path, there's someone's disturbed or like under unpleasant circumstances, like to be sick, to be poor, someone's like insult, then they are very happy. Now I need to develop the Mahayana's path. I want really to practice a patience, and it's like this. In the 37 practice of the Bodhisattvas, even the like kind of someone's chop or like cutting through your head, you more respect like kind of the dedicating virtues to these doers. That is the Bodhisattva's path. That is the really great Mahayana's vehicle, and that is the most important. And it is the harm caused by the enemies and obstacles make that gives you the opportunity to develop patience. Patience is the most important parameters in the 6 parameters. Therefore, if someone's harm to you, maybe direct or indirect, or maybe the harm is like tangible or intangible. Tangible means it's like your family, your friend, your enemy, your like kind of any physically reaction to harm to you. Like direct, indirect, to make the harm cause. And also it's like harming means it's like someone's criticized to you, maybe someone's mockery, you are ugly, you are like kind of the son of the bitch, you are like kind of ugly things, using nasty word, you are nothing, this kind of. That moment you need to respect and like kind of the more practice patience, then you are automatically, you develop your path. That is the wonderful. And if you say it's like Shantadeva says, like the harmer, causer harmers, harmer causers, if you don't make kind of negative karma, make me more harm, more disturbs. Also the Shantadeva say, may harmers never, according to me, never accumulate negative actions, negative deeds. Therefore, enemies like kind of maybe robber, maybe kill your family, maybe it's like a kind of the make big kind of ugly disaster things happen to you. Maybe this is like you need to think, oh yeah, this is like this kind of happened. Maybe this in the past life, maybe I done something. It is really, it's this kind of happened. Even the yesterday we talking about the Pema Salsi, Dzogchen Ranyak Patrul first one's life, he born in the Tucson Dechens doctor. And at that time he asked to Lopan Guru Rinpoche Pema Sambhava, how about my daughters, like why she born in my daughters? Which kind of I connected to my daughters? Guru Rinpoche said, you haven't got good connection, negative connections, then she reborn in your daughters. Once like kind of you killed her, like unmistakably, she was life and mosquito. And now it's like she born in your family, she died, it's a kind of revenge to you and repayment to you. It is like this. Maybe sometimes someone's hurting to you, someone's harming to you. This is maybe we need to repayment. And that moment is like, okay, now I can to repay, I can to practice patience. It is a wonderful. Then this that moment you practice patience, then it's Dharma is in your heart. Dharma is really there. Of course, some people say, oh, I can't do that. Okay, you can't do, then you don't need to practice. If you try to do it, it's a very important benefit, 100%. Even though sometimes, it's like enemies and the harm causes. And if you really to like kind of practice patience to be kind, they are sometimes become your best friend, your best families, and maybe they respect to you. Wow, incredible. I many times hurted, I many times mocking, I many times criticized. This person's never reacted. All the times to practice, develop patience. Then it's a wonderful. Then says, I love this person, I love this practitioner. Careful, observe, like kind of the observation will show you that it is very important. From the point of view of the Dharma perspective, enemies and obstacle is makers are kind to you than your own like kind of the parents. This is the very kind of the important, really in the Dharma point perspective. It is which kind of the kindness. Maybe obstacles and enemies is more kind than your parents. Why? Why we can to say it's like this? For example, of course, your parents love to use it. Your parents are the very kind, but how it is they? By their teaching you, by teaching you all the trickeries. Father said, oh, when you grow up, how you can to make business, how you can defeat to the others, how you can to like kind of famous any despair, you like kind of how to destroy your enemy, how you can to be challenge yourself. This kind of tricky reason is like kind of cheating to the others. Oh, this sort of worldly like a kind of activities they teach to us to become the winners and deceit necessary to like the succeed in this worldly. Worldly is yourself become winner, yourself is trouble, yourself is be happy, yourself is like kind of the healthy. Okay, others doesn't matter. Even the like kind of in order to you become winner, others dies. Others most important. You are my child. You are my children. You very important. You take care of yourself. Others nothing to taking care. It's like this. It's like kind of, there is histories. There is one in India, and one is like very rich parents. The son is like kind of bring into the school, and when he is bring every timers come back, there is one guy, he's working on the beside of the road, no shoes. He bottle like kind of water bottle to cut it. That is like he put on the feet, because the sand in the road is so hot, cannot put feet. And he put butter, and then like kind of some ropes to tidy up. Then it's going like this. No food, no shelter, no even the shoes. And each moment like kind of he saw that. One day it's like nearby there's a shop, and he like kind of the parents give to him money for the school spend. He collected, and then it's like suddenly he said, "Dad, can you stop here?" And then he said, "Why? We need to go home. Mother's preparing for your food." And he said, a little cries, but he said, "Why you are crying?" "And I want to buy something that." And then he stopped. He ran to in the shop. He bought one shoes, like big shoes. Then he said, "What are you doing this one?" "I need choice." Then he's coming slowly in the road, and he's looking in the window. And also he saw these guys over there. And he said, "Dad, can you stop?" And he said, "Why?" "I need to talk to this guy." He said, "No, this is a beggar, ugly, it's sickness." He said, "Please, I want to jump into the window." And he stopped, and he took these shoes and to offer. And then it's like this, the poor guy says, look at this boy, and he cried. And then it's like this father came, "Don't touch, this is ugly, dirty, look, let's go home." And he said, "Dad, maybe this person is your father." And then he said, "Why you say like this? Who knows? Maybe if your father, your mother, and you become this situation, what do? If you, my father, mother, you become like this, how I can to bear my heart?" And he said, and then his father said, "Wow, that is the truth." And then he took out his jacket, trousers, everything's give to him. Like this is like really your compassionate, is like kind of thinkings to other, like this babies, how much is kind of the thinking. But generally all the time it is my children, you should to be like this, tranquility, deceptive, necessary to the succeed in this world, can prevent you from getting freedom and the death of the low birth, depth of the low realms. And like this, actually, what is your parents teach you? You say, "Oh, you married, you create children, you need to make business, very important, these things." Okay, maybe you follow up like this, then there's no freedoms. And also it's like then you need to take care more like different things. Then maybe it's a low and low realms you rebirth, and in the future lifetimes. Like enemies, like kind of the obstacle makers. Maybe you are make a first time very sad disappointment, but finally according that you have renounced the world. Maybe you follow the Dharma. Maybe you discover the path of the Mahayana, that through that you can to reach enlightenment. Then you can to repair your kindness, parents of the sentient beings. Like this, therefore, is a death and like kind of the enemies and the obstacles more important than the kind of your parents. So there is like kind of kindness is not as great. It is it seems. On the other hand, enemies and obstacle makers are the entire the externally like a kind to you, like kind of the externally, and it's a how do you say, it's like a in the enemy there's like kind of the doing you is like obstacles, making problems, and extremely and like kind of to you, like a kind of horrible. It is the like the adversity and your enemies cause you the like kind of the provide you will at the reason or the practicing like kind of the patience. And they give you reason, they kind of provide to you, give path of the patience. Maybe it's like adversity, it's like made like kind of lot of obstacles and lot of kind of enemies problems. It's giving, provide you the practice patience. You practice patience, you become the enlightenment. Then is you are the winner. You are like kind of conquerors. Therefore, and generally speaking, they like kind of the separate you about your wealth, and also it's like your position, or it's like this material things. Like kind of then they like you like making big kind of the separations. So you're separated whether you like or not from your wealth and the position, the bound that prevent you from ever getting free from the samsara, and therefore the very source of the all the sufferings. And it is like kind of the most is like dangerous things. Maybe wealth we need to collect, we need to look after guardian, and finally maybe it's like holding the wealth and you lose your life, someone's robbed you, and it's like kind of the all beginning, in the middle, the end is very much sufferings. And it is like kind of also positions it. This is also like a kind of problems. And like a kind of first times like you try to get position and finally difficult to keep. Finally maybe it's also a lot of losing things we can to see directly. Maybe it's like you haven't got any like kind of the wealth or positions. Who can to have enemies? And like kind of you are free. It's like kind of the Shiaji Zenka Rinpoche's. Wherever he go, there's nothing kind of the stinginess, nothing kind of the sense of the lost. There's a kind of the like worried of the they left something, like kind of wherever you got free. One of the times you can to practice and like kind of the dharma, they prevent you from ever getting free from the like samsara, and therefore source of the like kind of sufferings. You they making separation of the source of the all the samsara and the like suffering things. Then it's the more kind of the your parents and like kind of the negative force and the obstacles makers also true. They like kind of lot of like negative force when you be doing in the worldly things, and a lot of obstacles. And we say, I have like maybe some quoting that you have a renunciation, this doing the world, you have more interest to the practice dharma, then you very easily like kind of enter into the path, provide you with a focus like for the practice of the patience. Then patience is like kind of the lot of purification your negative deeds, and also it's like kind of lot of accumulation merit through the illness, through and the sufferings. They provoke many past misdeed are the purified. Absolutely. Illness is when we occurring. It's like kind of the provoke past misdeed are the purified. We is like this sickness, illnesses, we never like kind of to be angry or something. And when we are ill, at that moment says, oh, this is my purification, 100%. Why I happened? Because maybe I have a lot of misdeed, in the past. And therefore I have this kind of, maybe now I'm purified. Maybe in the future is everything misdeed, like kind of like action, so the result is purified, not anymore like this. Or it's like a kind of the sufferings. Sufferings, there's many different type of the sufferings occurring. Sick, or maybe die, or lost, or like kind of this sort of separations. Any kind of sufferings you can to bring into the path. Maybe consider that is maybe a result of my past misdeed. And then it's like you can to concern like this, suffering, illness, bring into your path. You can to purify your in the past lives misdeed negative thing. Absolutely like this. For example, there's history. What is the more like kind of the enemies and obstacles bring you to the dharmas, as happened to the Jetsun Malaripa, in great yogi practitioner in Tibet, most famous, almost the like his passed away more than the 1,500 years ago, more than that. But still, we are talking about his story and how he became enlightened man, what happened his beginning, why he entered into the dharmas, whose uncle and aunt robbed him of all his wealth, whatever collected his fathers, and they robbed to the like kind of the non-parmo, there's a Gelon who is like, because she had been like a kind of the stricken is like kind of hurt, injured with the leprosy. It's losing nose, face, it's ugly thing, kind of the sickness, demonanga's like influence. Then she very much devoted herself to the practice of the Avalokiteshvara, and it's like subsequently, that means subsequently means the first time she has like kind of the got sickness, and after this Gelonpamo, she was is like very beautiful, rich families she born, and she was very young, and she got that. Then she cannot to be in the family. This pandemic is nothing. This pandemic, leprosy is like you can to give to your family as yourself. It's very whoever touch you can give this sickness. And then it's ancient times. It's like awful. There's no medicine and nothing. Sometimes this kind of person, when they start sick, they put in the very different house, and the food they put in the middle. Then this person come, pick up, eat until they die. When they die, even like kind of sometimes all the house surround to make whole. I saw these horrible things. And when this person start this sick, then families make special house under like a hole, and top of there's like make a bed, and this person's die, then there's someone's to touch and build everything so go into the earth. Then they put under the earth. Even they cannot sky bearing, they cannot to properly to do the funeral. Very, very ugly sickness. And she got that, and then she was such a renunciated, like, what can I do now? Then she asked one Lama. This Lama said, now is you are like out of your human families. Don't become the sad. It's like this kind of happened. Maybe you're like in the past negative deeds or misdeeded. Now he give Avalokiteshvara's like an empowerment. She was very much devoted to do it. And now you need to go to Lhasa, wherever. When you are in the middle, you begging the food, you first time tell to the people to say, don't come close me because I have this sickness. And then you can go, you die, you not die. It's like to pray. Then she did. There's no choice. And she left from family. Families thinking she was like considered dead like this. And there's like kind of decisive like they have. Because there's obviously she cannot to be there. And then she practiced Avalokiteshvara. That subsequently later she's attained supreme accomplishment. She became the enlightened man. Sickness is absolutely disappeared. And then it's like how to say, she's become Gelonpamo. So this is like like kind of very famous keeper of the nuns' vows, and most pure like follow up the discipline of the Buddhas, and a very famous master, enlightened lady in Tibet, this kind of Gelompa most. And then there's also Longchen Pas, omniscient Longchen Pas, kind of like Dharma. He says like this, very nice, like I sailed by the affections. I sailed means it's like kind of the negative, like kind of doer. It's like kind of the to harm to others, afflictions. We discovered the Dharma and found the way liberation. Thank you, evil force. The sail is the evil force to disturb to ours. And like kind of Longchen Pas, appreciate. Thanks, according to you, I discovered Dharma and to way of the liberation. And according that, I appreciate very much. And also the sorrows invade the mind. This invade the mind is I'm a little bit kind of the not happy, but it's okay. Invade the mind is like kind of making the sadness, depressed mind. Sorrows like kind of the sad, something's like kind of the mind is not unhappy. And that one is like another, there is one word, I forgot it like this, the mind. But anyway, it's like this. This is like discover the Dharma, quoting that, and find lasting happiness, become the enlightenment. Something sufferings, quoting that you sad, you run from the world to follow the Dharma, to practice Dharma. You discover the Dharma, you are like kind of the be enlightenment. Therefore, there you are, find the lasting forever happiness. Thank you, sorrow, Longchen Pai says. Through the harm caused by the spirit, we discover the Dharma and find fearless. Thank you, ghost and demons. And of course, first time we call the spirit may be harming to us, sickness, lot of different things. But according that kind of we discover the Dharma, we find the fearlessness, means like you realize the nature of the realities. And then it's like kind of the demons, ghosts, is not kind of demon ghosts. This is natural expressions. You have become the fearless. Then thank you for the ghosts and the demons, Longchen Pa's same. And also through the peoples hate me, discover the Dharma and find benefit and happiness. Thank you, those who hated us. It is a wonderful. Look at someone's, you think they are hated to him. Wonderful. Maybe you become sad. Maybe it's like you need to go outside that. You can do more sadly, you practice Dharma. Then it's like you such kind of find the benefit and the happiness. Benefit for happiness yourself, benefit for the others. And finally, if even someone hated in the samsara, according that you enter, follow the up Dharma and practice patience, then it's become the wonderful. Through the cool adversities and like kind of the cruel adversities, maybe big sickness, like Gelompa, leprosy. And some is like make a joke. This year's pandemic, coronavirus. Also, maybe someone's like kind of the retreat. Normally they say, I want to make retreat, but never make retreat. But according to coronavirus and to make, there's no choice. Even the myself, I'm locking down, it's like more than the 1 year. If normally it's like there's no coronavirus, years running around, don't care, and since it's be like kind of the these rules and to like kind of locking down, it's okay. Every day to study, every day a little practice to look at the world as very impermanent, to see the direct. And every day 1,000 people died, 500 people died, 200. Wow, it is like really showing that really is impermanent. And like this is like no certainty of the death. And each moment you are taking care of yourself, you are free for the death process. And then it's a start, more interest to Dharma, interest to practice. That is the wonderful, like this, cruel adversities, we discover the Dharma, like a kind of thanks, and find the unchanging ways, unchanging way to enlightenment. Thank you, adversity, cruel adversity, like sickness, like kind of the pandemic. Through the being unpelled to by others, we discover the Dhammas. Like some things like someone's, like a kind of the impelled means it's like someone says to you something like in order to you become the follow the Buddha, give information or be ugly or like through the criticism or through the advice, whatever you received something like kind of the negative way or positive way, maybe in order to make you discover the Dharma, you find like essential meaning is like your life. And according that, you practice patient Dharma, then it's very much, you be enlightened, you are Bodhisattva, you become Buddha. Thank you, oh, like kind of who is drive us answer. Then he said, it's like, we dedicate our marriage to all to repay your kindness. And therefore, it is like normally enemies, adversities, cruel adversities, oh, this kind of are the more kind than our parents. And therefore, like this, when we practice Dharma, patience, very, very important. Not only have our enemies, therefore, being very kind to you in this life, and like kind of like tend in this life, they have also been your parents in the past life. This is why you should give them such an important place in this practice. Those enemies, they like kind of the cruel adversities. Maybe they are in this life, you think they are your enemy opposite, but maybe on the past lifetimes, maybe in the being your like kind of the parents in the past lifetimes. Then you are repayment kind of your gratitude, and also it's like in this perspective, which one is your parents, which is not your parents, which one's help to you, which one's not help to you. We don't know it, but actually in this life, someone is like disturbing to you, like enemies. These things are quite very kind, really. Coffee? No. And we have stayed 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 15 minutes. And therefore, it's like this is why you should give them such an important place in during the practice times. And then this is all how you can to visualize, how you can to like particularly your motivation, particularly durations, particularly object of the important, how you can to visualize All this is like you finish it. Then when you like kind of take refuge, you prayer, you follow up your sessions. Then it's when the times comes to the conclude, the session is visualized that your yearning devotion caused innumerable rays of the light to stream out from the refuge deities. One is the conclude the session is, then what you need to visualize. For example, you are like the unchangeable devotions, irreversible devotion, the faith to put in the refugee, like kind of the source of refugee, front of your visualization, Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, or refugee trees. Like kind of and according that, it's like kind of making the conditions. Then is the front of the refuge deities, innumerable like luminosity rise. Light is like streamly, is like kind of out coming from the heart and to touch to the refugee source. And it's a rise touch you and all sentient beings surround to you. And like a flock of the birds scattered by the spling stones. Like kind of the flock means it's like kind of the gathering of the birds when they are landing in the like kind of the trees. And certainly you like the sling stone. Sling stone is like kind of in Tibet we call the wurdus, sling stones. And flock means it's like kind of the group of the birds, like kind of the hyache in Tibet. Flock is like together, flock of the birds. Scatter means it's like one's hundred birds is like landing in some place. If you put the stone in this middle of the rope sling, you throw like this, and then sometimes like kind of birds fly in the sky. Like this, the rising luminosity comes from all the deities, touch yourself, included all the sentient beings. Then you are like kind of want that moment, you fly it into all the Buddha, like this deity's heart, dissolved. Like there is example, flock of the birds scattered by the sling stones. Slingstone. I think slingstone, you say. Slingstone. This one is between, there's one dash you needed. This. Like this, stop, and you will fly up with and whirring sound. Whirring sound is like a kind of the make sound, like kind of the bird flies, this kind of sound. And dissolve into the assembly of the source of refuge deities. And then is afterward, then the like kind of the round deities melt all in the surround, these deities melt into the light. Then it's light from that outside inward, and slowly, for example, all the outside these deities to dissolve into we can to say some more details, like for example, like in the right bodhisattvas, all the bodhisattvas, everything's dissolved into the Avalokiteshvara. And at the left side, all the Shavakas, Pachika Buddhas dissolve into the Shariputra, and front all the Buddhas past, present dissolved into the Buddha Shakyamuni. Back is like kind of the lineage trees, every lineage lamas, everything's each one dissolved, maybe into the like kind of the until the maybe it's like Jigme limbas. And then it's like all the volumes dissolved into the teacher, and then this principle, this also dissolve into your own principle, the Guru Rinpoche Pema Sambhava. Like this dissolved is like kind of the dissolution state. Then the surround deities melt into the light from the outside inward, and dissolves into the teacher itself, like in the middle, in the center, with consort, everything's embodiment of the three sources, the refugees. Then all the deities above the teacher's heart dissolves, like kind of the also dissolved into this teacher, melted each other. And then afterwards the teacher then dissolved and like then vanish into the light, only the light. And then it's the rest for as long as you can in the primordial state, free from all the elaborations. Free from elaboration means there is a kind of the good, no, not good, negative, positive, nothing kind of like when you are thinking the space. This is like kind of non-conceptualizations. In these meditations, as long as you can to stay there, this statement, this is called the primordial state. Statement is a free, there's any kind of conceptual elaborations free from. That is also Dharmakaya. It is the essential nature. And we need to rest inside without any movement of the thoughts. That is the very important. We call that this is the dissolution part. And it is like kind of the part of the really the part of the view of the great perfections. And we call sometimes this is the alpha purities, this is essential nature, this is emptiness, and this is the true nature of the realities. And then it's like this sort of we needed the meditations, because it itself is like there's no conceptual elaboration. It is not past, not future, not present. It is not kind of positive, not negative. It is not beyond samsara or nirvana. You can't elaborate any at all. And therefore, if you say it's like a existence, and even the Buddha's wisdom eyes never kind of something discovered there is difficult to see it. It's beyond the elaborations. And if you say it's no existence, it's the source, fundamental, the cause of all the uninterrupted of the phenomena of the samsara and nirvana comes from that. And if you say this is contradict each other, existence or existence, it's never ever contradicted like this. Even you need to express or describe, even the Buddha's tongue has become the silent. How we can to say that? This is like kind of the essential natures. It is like this. And this is no existence, or you cannot to say exist, no existence, no neither, not either. It is like this. It's very difficult to, but that is only each individual, your like kind of trans awareness, then you can to experience. I often to make joke. For example, in this my coffee, okay? And inside this I put the milk, I put the coffee, and I put the royal red tea, and I have milk, and I have honey, everything. Then I'm tasting now. It's very tasty. And then someone asked to me, it's a sugar taste, it is like kind of whiskey taste, or coffee taste, or tea taste. I cannot to say. Then is this tea is not tasting? Of course, it's very tasty. But it's how I can to describe it. Like there is this sort of, you can to test it, your own individual, your mind does. You say yes, but you choose to say, do you understand? Yes, I understand fully. Can you tell me that? Say you cannot say nothing. Then what? I don't know. Say, then you are stupid. I'm not stupid. Then can you express it? How I can to express it? And this kind of, therefore, it's like there's no conceptual elaborations, that this is the Dharmakaya without any kind of the movement. That's kind of movement means it's like here also movement. It's a temporarily. Oh, it's so delicious. Dharmakaya is so delicious because I don't need any elaborations, just delicious. Oh, very delicious. Really? Can you tell me how I can to tell you? It's delicious. You said delicious, but I cannot describe, I cannot express, I cannot to describe, but it's delicious. Yes, it's delicious. It's marvelous. It's delicious. Yummy, yummy, yummy. Without any movement. Like this. Not laziness. Not a kind of darkness. Not a kind of the foggy mind. No. Very clearly. Yours is like the inner 5 faculties so clearly penetrate like a kind of the crystal, and it can to receive all the object of the desirables. Eye faculties clearly crystal to see all the form, but not movement. Without movement. Your ears to receive all the sound, frog, cuckoo, any kind of the sound, but your mind is not moved. Faculties is more sharper than the before you is this kind of meditation. You receive these 5 object desirables more clearly than before, but your mind is not moved. Therefore, is that a movement force, no movement. This state is very important to think, rest in this as much as. Certainly, you cannot to rest inside. You're rising you from your meditations. Then you need to dedicate, married to the infinite of the sentient beings with this word. So very important. How you can give and this is in Tibet. Through the merit of this practice, may I sweetly accomplish the 3 truths. I really fully I will become Buddha. May I become the Buddha. May I become the Dharma. May I become the Sangha. And I completely accomplish the 3 jewels. And I become like this. Afterwards, I will establish every single beings into these statements without any exceptions on their level, in the Buddha Dharma Sangha's level, and like this you can to say through this merit of this practice, may I swiftly complete the 3 truths and establish every single being without exception on their levels. You need to sing like this. Wow. Then you are great Mahayana practitioners. Okay? Remember the deities of the refuge constantly. Never lost. All the times like same as your mind, same as your body, same as like your life. You should to remember qualities of the 3 jewels and taking refuge day and night, each moment you like kind of the remember. Okay, never separated in yours any kind of situations. You sleeping, you are sitting, you are eating, you are working, any kind of happy, sorrow, and dancing, sing any kind of situations. When you work, visualize. I'm now talking, for example, any kind of situation. When you're working, you should to visualize them, the refugee deities, in the space above your right shoulder, in the right shoulder and the space. It's like kind of imagine that you are the circumambulating them. If you circumambulate them, you are like kind of working, it's become your accumulation merit, virtues, and like this. When you are sitting, visualize. You are sitting, relax. Don't lose your mind. Remember, you should visualize them above your head as the support of your prayers, that kind of to see in to living under your above. You're the supporting to make evidence for your visualization, prayers, so on. When you eat delicious chocolate or the kind of the cake and also delicious potekatoshka or yesterday we said or pizza or kachapuri or momo or and any kind of delicious one you eat, that moment you don't need to lose your mind. You have excellent with your mindfulness. Visualize the refugees, the refuge deities, them in your throat, and offer to them the first part of your food and drinkers. Also, then you are eating, drink is become the accumulation merit. That is the wonderful. They really to make a virtue, maker of the virtue, maker of the accumulation merit is mind. And then it's like any kind of the movement you can to bring into the like kind of the positive that you need to know about that. Absolutely says that when you are sleepy, don't make natural bomb. It's like kind of the visualize, naturally you sleep. Maybe it's like positions of Buddha's parinirvana pass away like this, and then you can to visualize them in your heart center, in the middle of the. Sometimes we say it's like you before to sleep, lying down on your bed, and then your center channels open. From that, all the refuge, this source already. Maybe you can say Buddha Dharma Sangha enter into your heart and dissolved into the luminosity. You're the really mind mixed like this, and your heart is red lotus. First open, and then you close it. Then inside the full luminosity, there's 3 jewels. Your mind is to like this. Then that is the meditation in the heart center. This practice is the essential to dissolve that kind of delusion into the clear light set. Like during the night, lot of like kind of you have the dream. It is delusory dreams, and the dream you have a lot of delusory dreams. That is like you can through this into the clearly light luminosity, and then you are purified, and you are a great like kind of even the sleep is the virtues. It's a wonderful. Whatever you do, whatever you like kind of wherever you be, say, doing never separate, never ever separate from a clearly mental image of the refuge deities, principally Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. Then entrusted yourself with a total confidence to the 3 jewels and devoted yourself entirely to taking refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, Sanghas. That is the like kind of the information of the how to take refuge. And then it's like tomorrow we can to start the precepts and the benefit of the taking refuge. Maybe it's like first we need to stop 15 minutes. After, if you have a question, you are very welcome. If you not have any question, I'll be very happy. And then we can also maybe a little bit to study. Okay, 15 minutes post.